Hello, this is Evangelist Lenine Barnett, a motivational, social, and biblical matters speaker. Now, still stay tuned for the Types of Sin series, Volume 1, Blatant Sins. But this right here is some information that I would like for you to have. The focus would be yourself. Be yourself. And the reason that I'm saying that is because so many people are trying to please others. They don't even know who they are for trying to please others. Now, I'm not saying like when you're a child and your parents want you to do this and do that. But once you become of age and you have a different desire for your life, or the Lord has a different call on your life, and you know that it's something that you have a passion to do and not something that somebody else is telling you to do, you follow that passion. Because Paul said it in the Bible. He said, this is our lot in life. This is your lot in life. Whatever God has called you to do, if you have that burning desire, now I'm talking about right things. I'm not talking about wrong things. But if you have that burning desire that, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, well, that's God. You go ahead and do that thing. You don't sit up there and not do what you want to do in life just to please somebody else to make them happy. It's not their life. It's your life. You do what God called you to do. You do what is passionate for you to do. If you want to be the greatest mechanic there was and you like working on cars, but there's somebody else that says, no, you shouldn't work on cars. You should go and do this and be a teacher or be... But you know that's not what God called you to do. You go ahead and do what God called you to do. That's kind of like two people being on, let's use a highway situation. Two people are driving down the highway. All right. You both are in the same lane. The street is straight. The street is straight. All right. So you're riding along beside each other. You're in your own lanes. And then all of a sudden there is a cross path. There's a cross path. And then it may be that your paths cross each other. You may be in your own lane. You don't know the person in the next car driving beside you. They don't know you. But yet you're both driving beside each other, going your own separate ways. Now get what I'm trying to say here. Pick up the revelation. You're driving down the lane, in your car. Someone else is driving down the lane, same street, but different lanes. In their car. You're both are parallel to each other. You're both going straight. You're focused on your destination. They're focused on theirs. They don't know where you're going. You may be going to a picnic, or they may be headed to the hospital. But you're both still on that same street, and you're both in your own lanes. Now, sometimes a lane will cross. Now, look at the lanes as being two different people. Sometimes the lanes will cross. It may be that you don't know that person, they don't know you, but you both may end up at the same gas station. You may end up seeing each other and say hi. Okay, your paths cross. You both ended up being at the same place at the same time. But that was for that moment. In other words, don't get caught up into someone else's lane. Don't get caught up into jealousy, envy, strife because of what another has or what another does. Because your paths are not the same. They're not the same. It's not meant for you to do what they're doing. They're not meant to do what you're doing. You're jealous of them and you don't know it, but they're jealous of you. It's like you're thinking their life's better. They're thinking your life's better. So the whole point I'm saying is do you. Stay in your lane. And I say that in a positive way. Do what you are passionate to do. Because just like you might be looking over the fence and think it's greener on the other side, Or you may be thinking someone else's life is better than yours. There's a singer that sings a song that says, their life is not better than yours. I believe it's J. Cole sings, their life's not better than yours. It's not. So do you, they do them. And then if your paths cross and you both end up at the same gas station and able to have a friendly conversation for a moment, then your paths cross. That means there was some likeness to what you're doing versus what they're doing. There was some similarity there. There was the same desire there to get gas at the same place. So the point of that is, don't think someone else is better than you as far as you being intimidated or you feeling like low self-esteem or you feeling like, don't think that. Think of yourself as, now the Bible do say esteem others better than yourself, as far as you don't be complimenting yourself like, oh, with flattery. Some people just overly compliments themselves. You need to allow someone else to compliment you. But anyway, your paths is going to cross. So when your paths cross and there is similarities, for example, it may be two people end up at the same job, don't know each other, but they end up at the same job, doing the same work. Okay, just because there is a similarity in that particular one area doesn't mean you follow their similarity at all times. In other words, don't try to be like somebody else. Don't live their life, live yours. There's a saying that people say, and it's like, this is the new, what example do I want to use? This is the new Bugs Bunny. I don't want to say any person's name. Or this is the new Squirrel. This is the new singer. And they mention a popular singer's name. But no, they're not that person. They're not that person. Even a mother and child, that child's not that mother. They're not. It's like, so when you come up, you take ownership of yourself. Don't let nobody compare you to another. I had someone trying to do that to me. Oh, this person does this person does that. Well, I'm not that person. Don't let someone put you in a competition, and don't even be in peer pressure. Don't worry about what others are doing. You just do you. When you find out you're just you, that's kind of like when, now I won't go deep into this area. That's kind of like homosexuality when it finally came out as legal. Now I'm speaking on the social, in a social manner. So we're not going to go into whether it's a sin or it's not a sin. I'm not speaking on that on a biblical matter. I'm speaking on it on a social matter. So it's like when that first came out, homosexuality, and it was okay to get married and things like that. Well, prior to that, it was they felt ashamed. Homosexuals and lesbians felt ashamed. They felt ashamed, to be themselves. They felt ashamed to be, I can't be me because I'll be talked about. I can't be me because I'll be ridiculed. I can't be me because it's written it's a sin. Now, I didn't say any religion or anyone's particular biblical or spiritual take on it. I'm just giving you an example. It was hidden. They was not themselves. They wasn't themselves. So they was living a different life. They was living a way that they wasn't pleased with, just to please society. But when it finally became legal, well, then they finally started being themselves. So the point I'm saying is, be you. If you're a geek, and I can say that because I was the type of person, I stayed in the library. When I was young and the other kids was out in the playground playing, well, I was in the library reading. Even if it was the Nancy Drew series and the Andrew Boys. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Or the Chronicles, Sam, and whatever those Chronicles was called that we had in school. I mean, I didn't bother me. I didn't care whether people said she's a bookworm, or I didn't care whether people thought, whatever. I love to read. I was having just as much pleasure in the library reading my books as they were having on the playground. So the point I'm making is, please you. Now, we're talking on the social matter, because we know to please God first, but we're talking on a social matter. Please you. Do you. And just because your paths crossed another person's path, just because y'all was in side-by-side lanes and then all of a sudden y'all both turned the same corner, doesn't mean you have to be that person. You still do you. Doesn't mean, and most of the time you will find out that people that laugh at you, people that talk about you, they are jealous of you. They're jealous of you. They can't have they can't be you. They can't have your personality, or they can't dress like you, or they feel like you have a better IQ. So they'll laugh at you. They'll ridicule you. Remember, like when you was in elementary, a boy liked you or a girl liked you, and if you didn't like them back, then they started talking about you. Well, that's how it is. People are jealous. They're envious. The Bible talks about envies and strifes. And when you find someone's constantly picking at you or constantly saying something negative, they wish they could be you. They wish they could be you. So I wanted to take this, you may call it a commercial break, from the Types of Sin series. But the Lord laid this on my heart, is tell people to be them. Tell people to be them. Now, I want you to stay tuned. Let's call it that. Tell people to be them. Be yourself. Yeah, let's call it be yourself. All right, now this was the break, but I want you all to stay tuned, because we're going to go back to the Type of Sin series, Volume 1. And we were talking about the do's and don'ts. We were talking about things that people are calling sin that's not sin, and is causing young people not to want to be saved, and adults alike. So, Types of Sin series, Volume 1, we're going to talk about blatant sins. Blatant sins. What God spoke about in the Bible, and that was the 10 Commandments. So, that's what I want you to stay tuned for, and God has a word for you. This is Evangelist Lenine Barnett, a motivational speaker on biblical and social matters. Until then, God bless. Hit me back. Put comments on the video and let me know how you feel and what you think. Thank you.